welcome on this new Coach Academy Lab Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez, and today we are here for week 6 of the Falcon Sports Car Series, and we're gonna drive the M4 GT4 around the circuit of the America. So as usual, first we're gonna go with the outlap, and then I'm gonna go into more details about the car and the track. So yep, let's get started. Alright guys, so we go for the lap around the circuit of the America with the M4 GT4, and as you can see, you can already see the big wall just in front of us with the T1, which is right at the top of that crest basically. So what I'm doing for this one is that I'm looking at the white line which is going across the track, which is basically you can see a bit more with the blue cone on the left side, which is on the red line, basically, on the left. So what I'm doing is that I'm braking, I would say, 3 meters before, like when you can see the tire marks begin, like at that point, that's where I'm starting to brake. And I'm basically gonna try to go a bit wide on the entry, so then it helps me actually to exit from the corner by being as straight as I can on the steering wheel. So yeah, basically that's what I'm doing. So as you can see, close to the tire marks, and then I'm going on the brakes, EV braking zone, but actually you can brake a bit late, I would say, later because it goes uphill, so it basically helps to slow down the car a lot more. And then as you can see, just going on the brakes, as soon as the track is getting flat, I'm just gonna release the brakes to, at that point, start to find the rotation. At the beginning, it's just only about trying to slow down the car, and then at that point, I'm releasing the brakes so then I can find the rotation coming from the back because I have a bit more brake on at the back. So then basically just turning in, just trying to avoid the sausage on the inside. So basically for me the sausage is the orange bit of the curb. So the best is to avoid them around the track, except a few ones which are a bit flat. So then around those one you can go, but yeah, the big ones like this one, and I think it should be turn 10 or 11. You have to avoid them at all costs, I would say. So then just going back a bit, and then as you can see, just on the brakes, just releasing the brakes, trying to find the rotation, and then going back on power early to find as well the rotation on the exit. Just trying to go smooth on the exit to not like put wheel spin on the car by going too heavily on power. And as you can see, just trying to manage the power. And then as soon as the wheel is straight, I can go full throttle. For the exit, no need to go too wide and going on the curbing. It's not necessary. You just go on the curbing with the right wheels, and yeah, that's it then. Just out of the track on the curbing. Then I need to move in the middle of the track because if I stay all the way on the right side for the next one, I will get a bit of understeer, especially with the GT4, and because we have 34 degrees, which is quite high, I would say. Even if you can have even higher on this track, but still it's quite high, so it's missing grip. And also because it was the first timed lap of the stint, and the tires are not completely ready to go for full send. So yeah, it's better. It's better if you keep a bit of a margin on this one. So as you can see, going in the middle of the track and then turning in when the corner is coming, and basically just gonna try to use all of the track on the inside, basically not too much because then you can get enough track. So what I'm doing is that I'm basically gonna try to kiss a bit the white line with the left wheels, but not that much because then you can get, like I said, the off track. And then I can go with my right wheels on the right side of the white line in the middle, so this one basically, which is on the right side of the red and white curbing. So basically you can do that on this curbing. It's flat out on this one, so it's basically it's basically not like a corner, I would say, even if it's flat out, but yeah, still. So yeah, like I said, you can use the curbing not too much because then you can get enough track. And then the fact that you went a bit in the middle of the track before the corner before basically give you a nice momentum for this one, because then you don't have you won't exit too wide, because if you were much more on the inside of the corner before, you would exit much wider on this one. But then at that point, I'm in the middle of the track, so I can really think about the next corner, because then if I exit really wide, I need to think about the exit much longer than if I was on that part of the track. And then it means that I will arrive like it's gonna be too quick for me to arrive on the S's. So that line is pretty good. So then as you can see, just going back in the middle of the track and just gonna then when I'm getting close of the bridge, gonna turn in, try to look at the first apex, which is the first. It's not sausage, it's not really a sausage, but I will call that a sausage. But yeah, just looking at the first sausage, obviously just trying to avoid them at all costs, because if you get them, you can damage suspension, I'm sure. So just make sure to avoid them. So then as you can see, as soon as I'm getting close to the sausage, it's at that point that I'm gonna start to brake, just trying to slow down a bit the car, trying to find as well the rotation out of the car, because if I only just lift, then I will struggle to find the rotation, and I need to make sure that I'm finding some rotation by a way, basically. Like I need to find rotation, and just using the steering is not enough in GT4 basically most of the time. So then I need to use the brake. So once again, as you can see, just getting close of the apex, and at that point going on the brake, no need a huge input of brake. As you can see, I'm putting more brake at that point because as you can see, the wheel is getting straightened. So basically it's better to brake. It gives a bit more stability, I would say. So, and basically because it helps me to slow down a bit more. So basically, for example, if I was doing the same input there, the car would go straight, because obviously the more all of the weight of the car would go at the front if I brake. So basically I'm gonna lose grip at the front and the car will go straight. But if I do that in the straight, I'm not really looking at any kind of rotation on that straight. So basically it's the best place to brake a bit more, I would say, put more pressure. And as you can see, I need to make the corner, so I'm just releasing the brake once again, just trying to avoid the sausage. And at that point I'm going a bit back on power, because there I need to find again the rhythm, find again the momentum. So basically that's why I'm going back on power. As you can see, I'm just kissing a little bit the sausage, but it's fine. Like as soon as you're not going fully on the sausage, if you use the edge of it's fine. But if you really go on the very top of the sausage, then you can make sure you will damage something, that's for sure. Then as you can see, just trying to find again the momentum by going on power. Same, just going on the curbings all the time. And then at that point, just need to brake a little bit to make this one. So basically, same, just looking at the sausage on the inside, just trying to make sure I'm not eating the sausage. Then just trying to find a bit the rotation with this input of braking as well, and slowing down a bit the car. And then just before rejoining the curbing, just going back on power because I need to find once again the momentum until the next curbing. So then as you can see on the curbing, going back on the brake, need to slow down a bit the car and as well find a bit of rotation. Same for this one, just getting close, going past really close of the sausage, but once again, I'm just avoiding that one. And then I'm gonna go back into the cockpit. So this one, and then as you can see, just trying to find the rotation basically on power. From now, I don't really need to brake because I have the momentum, and now it's just up to me to find the right momentum. So basically, now I just need to find the speed. So it's just gonna be up to me to make sure that I'm not going over the limit with the power. So then it gives me understeer, for example, because then if I carry too much speed, I will get understeer. But also at the same time, I need to make sure I'm not going too slow, because if I'm going too slow, I'm gonna lose all the momentum of DSs, and DSs are mostly about momentum, I would say. And then we approach this one just under the circuit of the America Bridge. And for this one, basically, you can use a lot of curbing. It's pretty much, I would say, the same track limits we saw for the, I guess it's turn 2 or 3, like the right one, which is flat, just after the S's, just after the first hairpin of the track. So basically, I would say that it's the same track limits. As you can see, I'm doing almost the same, just kissing a little bit the white line with the left wheels and having my right wheels on the red part, I would say. So it's pretty much the same. Do not be too greedy because same it can be a bad of track, I would say, especially if you are in quali or even in the race. It's quite easy to go to get very bad on the track limits on around this track. So just make sure you're not getting too easy ones, I would say. And then the idea there is to exit, I would say, in the middle of the track, because then as you can see you have the left hander which comes really quickly after. So then at that point, I would say just when I'm basically, you have that curbing on the left side, so you cannot really see it, but when you go past this one, it's at that point that I'm just basically lifting and then going on the brakes. Same for this one, no need to go with a massive input of braking, because as you can see, at the same time it looks really tight, but at the end you can find a lot of rotation because the angle of the corner is pretty good, I would say, and because with the fact that it goes a bit downhill and you are on the brake, you will find quite a lot of grip at the front because the weight will go at the front, and the fact that it goes downhill will help quite a lot to find the rotation. So that's why you don't need a massive amount of brake, I would say. So then as you can see, just on the brake, I stay on the brake, and as soon as I'm getting close to the apex, just gonna go back on, just going back on power to find the momentum. As you can see, just avoiding the sausage on the inside. And there, the idea is to not go on the curbing, because then I need to prepare the next right-hander. But I'm gonna try to stay a bit more tight, I would say, than just going wide and trying to carry all the momentum. Because if I carry the momentum there, it's good. But then at the end, I will lose time because I will have to slow down a lot the car on the entry of this one. So as you can see, just stay a bit tight, and then going on the brakes as soon as the curbing there is ending. So as soon as I cannot see it anymore, just gonna go on the brakes. Gonna go on the brakes slightly because same as you can see, it goes uphill. So it's gonna be a bit more natural to slow down the car, I would say. And then the idea there is to really stick with the curbing, just basically using most of the time the same track limits. So as you will see, just trying to kiss a bit the white line, I think, with my left wheels. And I will try to stay as much as I can, sorry, on this curbing, because then the fact that I stay more time, a bit longer on this curbing, will help me to have a better exit and have as straight as I can, being as straight as I can on the exit, but we will see that. As you can see, just trying to use a lot of curbing on the inside. So basically, if I show you this from the chase cam, it's gonna be almost the same as what I'm doing on the corners before, which was turn 2, and it was 1 or 2 corners before. So as you can see, just trying to make sure that I'm using all of the track on the inside. So just showing you with a better camera, I can try like that. Yeah, should be fine. So as you can see, just trying to make sure that I can stay on the curbing like that. At that point, I'm not getting any off track, so it's fine to do it like that. And then as you can see, just trying to stay on the curbing until this curbing is ending, basically. So as soon as it ends, then you can turn to the left and make the corner. So I'm just gonna go back into the cockpit to show you how I made it. So basically, like I told you, on the brakes, and as soon as you are in the middle of the corner, you can go back and profile the rotation, because at some point, if you stay too longer on the brakes, you will lose the momentum, and that's not the thing there, basically, because it goes uphill, so you need to find momentum at some point, because otherwise the car will go slower and slower and slower. So then going back on power, trying to make sure I'm not going too fast to not leave the curbing, and then basically ruining all the exit, because this exit is actually very, very important. So as you can see, the curbing is getting really close to the end. So at that point, gonna turn to the left. And then the idea there is to lift a little bit when you just arrive at that point, because the rear is getting really light. So basically, if you stay flat at all the way, you will get some wheel spin. That's why I'm lifting for about, I would say, 1 or 2 seconds, because then it helps me to have a better traction than if I was going flat out. I would get some wheel spin and I would lose time. So basically, that's what I did. So yeah, as you can see, just avoiding the sausage and then just lifting a little bit. I would say I'm around 80, 85%. So it's enough, no need to lift too much, basically. And then for the exit, just trying to play a bit with the wheel to avoid the wheel spin first, and also because I need to avoid the off track on the exit. I don't know what's the limit really, but I guess that if you go over the white line, you're gonna get the off track. Then we have that flat out king, so basically you can go across the curbing, pretty much the same. Just stay with at least 2 wheels on the line. That's, for me, that's the safe way to do it. You can gain a bit of time, but it's not gonna be like 1/10. So yeah, you can do it, but it's not necessary to remake it. And if you don't want to take the risk, it's okay. You're not gonna lose any time. Then I stay on the right side of the track and gonna go for the 100 board on the right side, which is basically the first white line on the track. And I'm basically gonna use this line as a braking reference. So I'm gonna brake as soon as I'm getting really close of it. So basically big braking zone, because it's an hairpin. So basically going almost 100%, just trying to brake as hard as I can until I'm getting close of the corner, and then I need to release the brake because I need to find the rotation. So as you can see, not trying to go all the way for the apex, basically trying to keep a bit of a margin, say a bit more in the middle of the track, so then I can put most of the steering angle in the middle of the corner, and then on the exit I can straighten and put the gas. So basically, as you can see, just trying to stay a bit wide, then getting close of the corner, putting second, just going on the curbing, but not the sausage. That's important because then it makes the car jump, and then you're gonna lose the traction and lose time on the exit. And there, as you can see, just trying to find the rotation, putting a bit more steering wheel compared to usual, basically, because it's really tight. And then, as you can see, going on power, trying to find the rotation. And then as soon as the wheel is straight, going fully on power, trying to make sure I'm not getting the off track by going too wide on the exit. So it's same. Try to keep your at least left wheels on the white line. And now we have that very long straight. So basically going through the gears, fourth gear. And then as soon as it blinks to red, going to fifth. And now I will stay with fifth gear. Actually, no need to put six, even seven. It's useless on this car. And then just gonna brake around 125, I would say. So once I'm in the middle of the 150 and the 100, just gonna brake in the middle of the two. So basically gonna drop to second. I'm starting to turn in basically when I'm getting past the 50-meter board, basically. So that's at the point that I'm gonna start to turn in. No need to turn in too early, because then you're gonna have to put a massive steering angle on the exits. So basically, as you can see on the brakes, trying to release to find the rotation, putting second, and then trying to get the curbing on the inside, and then on the exit, trying to straighten the wheel. So basically, to put the power, basically at the same time I straightening the wheel, so then I can have the best traction possible. Same for this one, trying to basically avoid the off track on the exit, so basically not going too wide and going on the right side of the white line. And then I need to quickly move to the left side to prepare the next corner. So basically going all the way to the left. And then as soon as I'm on the left side going on the curbing, I'm gonna go on the brakes. At that point, I'm gonna drop to second. For me, it's the best way to slow down the car and find the rotation. As you can see, getting a bit of sausage, it's fine because this one is not as big as the ones before. So on those ones I can actually use them. So as you can see, just on the brakes, releasing the brakes to find the rotation, using a bit of sausage, and then as soon as I'm on the sausage, I can go back on power. We'll try to short shift as soon as I can for the third gear because then it gives me the best traction. Second, it was good to find the rotation, slow down the car as well. But then on the exit, the third gear gave more traction. So then we have this little king. So basically, you just go across this one, just trying to make sure that you are not going too deep on the inside because then you can get the off track. And then from now, I'm gonna look at this curbing. So as soon as it begins, just going on the brake, just gonna try to follow basically the rubber on the track basically. So that's pretty much, it gives you pretty much the line. So then going on the brakes, we'll drop to second, and then just gonna try to turn in. Just basically you are almost turning in all the time. So at the time you are braking until you are reaching the middle of the corner, you're gonna go on the steering input. Then same, you're gonna have to hold the brakes for quite a long time, I would say, to make sure you're slowing down the car enough. But basically at the point where you are reaching the apex, you're gonna have to release the brake to make sure you're not losing the rear. So basically I will show you at that point, you need almost to release the brake, because if you stay with the brake, there is a chance that you completely lose the rear, like it's gonna slide all the way. So basically at that point, just going on the brakes, and from now the car is slowed down enough. So now it's just about making sure that I'm having the right line, not too deep on the inside, because then you can get the off track, or then too wide, because then you're gonna ruin the exit. So basically, as you can see, getting most of the track I can on the inside. So basically, tough to say what's the track limit, but as you can see, just trying to stay close with my right wheels on the white line. Basically, that's pretty much the thing around this track, I would say. No need to go too deep on the inside as well, because then sometimes it can be a bit bouncy. So yeah, sometimes it's just better to avoid a bit going too deep on the inside, especially on that place. And then the idea there is to straighten the wheel as early as you can, so then you can get the best traction possible. So as you can see, straighten the wheel fully on power now. And same, just trying to keep the left wheels on the white line to not get the off track. And now I'm trying to go to the left side of the track to prepare the triple, or yeah, I would say I think it's a triple right now. But yeah, just trying to go on the left side of the track, just trying to get close of the first apex, which is right there. But it's basic, you're not basically really making it to the apex, because then you have to actually make the apex on that one and not this one, because then if you make the apex on this one, there is a big chance that you miss this one. So that's why you have to keep a bit of a margin on this one. As you can see, dropping the third gear to make sure I can slow down the car, getting the first curbing, then going back to fourth because I need to find the momentum at that point, and because it goes downhill. So at that point, I really need to find the momentum. Getting the curbing, and at that point, it's almost flat out all the way, except at that point, if you feel that you are going a bit wide, I would say, you must avoid to go wide there, because then you have to go really quickly to the right side. Maybe if you have more downforce, you can make it, because you will go easily, you're gonna go easily back to the right side if you have a lot of downforce. But with GT4, for example, you don't have that much downforce. So if I go wide on the exit of this one, then I'm gonna quickly have to go to the right, and then I will probably compromise the next left corner, which is right there. Basically, you can see it now. So that's why I'm trying to keep a bit of a margin, and I'm not trying to go too wide. So as you can see, fourth gear, getting the curbing, trying to stay as much as I can on the curbing, and then I will try to lift a bit to make sure I can go quickly to the right. So from now, going to the right side, and then basically I'm gonna start to brake as soon as I'm going on the curbing. The idea there is to not brake too late, because it's really easy with the momentum to go wide on the exit. So that's why that as soon as I'm going on the curbing, I'm gonna go on the brake. The idea there is to basically put the left wheels on the left side of the sausage, even if it's not possible. It's okay. Even if you go on the sausage, it's fine, because it feels really flat actually. It looks like a sausage, but it's actually really flat. The best way to do it, like I said, is to go on the left side of the sausage with your left wheels. But basically, if you cannot, if you at least run on the sausage, it's okay. That's the thing, because then if you don't use the sausage and you stay with your left wheels on the right side of the sausage, then you will get compromised on the exit, and then you're gonna lose a lot of time, in my opinion, and you have a chance to get then the slowdown, the off track on the exit, because you're gonna go wide. So like I said before, going on the brakes as soon as I'm going on the curbing, not putting too much input on the brake because I don't want to hit ABS and go straight. That's basically the key on that one. If I do that, I'm just done basically, and the lap is completely gone. So jumping to third, just going over the sausage, and at that point, just trying to find the rotation as well on the power and the exit. Same, just trying to make sure to not go too wide and going on the right side of the white line. So just keeping a bit of a safe margin, I would say. And then we approach the last corner, just basically braking 1 or 2 meters before, dropping to third gear, then going for the corner just after the white line, turning in, just trying to aim for the sausage. So same for this one, you can use the sausage on the inside, it's not an issue at all. And then the idea there is to straighten the wheel as soon as you can, so then you can go full power. And same for this one, same as usual, just make sure that you are not leaving the going on the right side of the white line to make sure you're not getting the off track. And that's it for the lap around COTA with the M4 GT4. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a bit from it as well. That was week 6 of the Falcon Sportscar series with the M4 GT4 and COTA. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and join the Discord server if you have any questions about the work we are making. And I see you for week 7. Bye bye.